It's a market that most traders don't pay any attention to at all, but platinum has had a great performance over the last 10 months or so. That trend has accelerated since November of last year to hit 6-year highs. So just how much more upside could there be in this neglected metal market? I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at platinum. We do get a few requests now and again to take a look at this as a market. I think it's been a much more interesting market than gold or silver over recent months. So I thought, well, let's do a video on the channel about this, take a look at things in more detail and see where the opportunities might be. You can see, of course, in common with plenty of other markets, it got hit really hard late Feb into middle of March last year, of course, as the coronavirus pandemic spread, traded down to about $600 an ounce in the middle of March. But since then, it's bounced back, more than doubled off those March lows, hit its best levels. If we just take this chart out, we got to go back to July, August 2014. So 6.5 years when platinum was last at these levels. But given the rate of the recent rise, is there more to come? Is there more to come from this trend? Should we be waiting for a pullback to buy in? Should we be selling short? As usual in this video, we'll take a look at things in more detail and see if we can set a trade up. We don't have any trades on platinum at the moment. We have some gold trades running that are slightly against us, some silver trades that are trading pretty much at break even, but nothing on platinum. So in this video, let's see if we can put that right and see if there's an opportunity here for the next few weeks. Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com, and I thought we were overdue a look at platinum in a bit more detail, considering the sort of gains that we've seen in recent months and whether it's going to continue higher from here. So as usual, in this video, I'll talk a bit about what's been driving it, the levels to watch out for. Then we will jump back onto the chart, onto the platform, look at things in more detail and see if we can set a trade up. As usual, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel. And we now do these regular live streams every Friday from 2:30 UK time. They're proven to be really popular. I really enjoy doing them. We look at a whole host of different markets over the course of an hour. If you're subscribed with the alarm bell clicked down there, you get notified by YouTube every time we're about to go live. Anyway, let's get into it and take a look at platinum in more detail. So just some of the numbers. We had seen platinum stage solid recovery since the lows of last year. And recently, last week, we saw platinum trade to its highest levels in more than 6 years. So we're back at a level not seen since I think it's August 2014, around about then. And it's really been the last few months this market has got a move on. So over the last quarter, we've seen the price of platinum jump up by more than a third, by about 34%. So real strength into this year that has continued. And as usual, the question is, are we going to see further gains from it? And I think it's a really interesting market. It's one that not many people look at compared to gold and silver. And it's definitely been, I think, the better market to trade in recent months. So why are we seeing a bounce back in the metal? I mean, well, one of the reasons is that the increased vaccination around the world is continuing to raise hopes that we will get back to a perhaps not normal, but near normal situation as the year unfolds. Plus, of course, the hope is then with the knock-on effect that has for getting industry and the world economy back to normal and increasing demand for industrial metals such as platinum. What's interesting with this one, more than a third of the demand for platinum in recent years has come from the car sector, the parts that platinum plays in catalytic converters. It is one of the catalysts that goes into these. And we know that catalytic converters are a way of reducing emissions for traditional internal combustion engine cars. So, although electric cars continue to increase in popularity, and some think, well, how is this going to affect demand for platinum? We're still going to have hybrid cars probably for some time that use a mix of diesel or petrol and electric power. And platinum will still play its pace here, keeping demand. So I think it is interesting, the balance, the underlying industrial fundamentals and the way market sentiment has gone in recent months. The question is, can it go much further? Let's look at the levels to watch. Then we'll jump back onto the platform and look at it in more detail. So the next hurdle on the upside is the most recent high that we saw last week, around 1,344 an ounce, that sort of level. After that, I think we're looking at a psychological level, 1,400. Then back to July 2014 highs above 1,500. Because we've seen a good trend here, a good uptrend, we've got plenty of support left on the downside. If we did see it come under any pressure, there are lots of levels to watch for a bounce and a better trade entry. The first of these, I think, is around $1,200 an ounce. So let's put some color on these numbers. Let's see if we can set a trade up. Let's go back onto the platform. So here's that move in platinum off the March lows. Good trend. It really accelerated since November. We probably need to pick up on a more accelerated trend in here. But I thought, as it's a market we haven't looked at for a while, let's take a look at something different as well. We've got a 50-day moving average on here, the green line here. You can see the break above in mid-November. In hindsight, signaled the start of that move. We had a few sell-offs towards the moving average back at the beginning of this year. A couple of times in January, sold back to there. At the moment, that's coming in around $1,130. So it's still about $150 above that moving average. So you could say it was overextended. Of course, the risk is if you're watching a market and you think it's overextended, you wait for the pullback and the pullback never happens and you miss out on further gains. So we'll take a look at trying to do perhaps an aggressive trade this time around rather than waiting for a pullback. We'll just jump in and get our stop on. If we take a look at the RSI down here, not surprising, the RSI has been overbought as the market has pushed higher, but you would have missed out on the last $150 of that move higher because the RSI went overbought, as is often the case in strong trending markets. RSIs will hit an extreme, even though the trend is still strong up or down. And the risk is they take you out far too early before the market is going to continue trending. So what I want to do here, I want to look at a trade that tries to take advantage of the current momentum. We have a sensible stop loss. When it comes to targets, I think my initial target would be for a run back up to those old highs, first of all, around about 1345, 1350. And then if we take things out to the weekly view, I suppose if we're going to have a more aggressive longer term target, we could be looking at a run back to the sort of the late June, early July highs around 1,500. So another couple of $100 from where we are now. If we jump back onto the daily chart, even if we sold off towards $1,000 an ounce on platinum at the moment, it doesn't change that recovery since March. So if we did get a deeper sell-off from here, that still looks like an opportunity. So for me, I'll be a buyer on strength and I'll be a buyer on dips for platinum at the moment. But what I want to do is set a trade up now. So let's focus on what's been going on since November. Let's take a look at the shorter term chart and try and plan this trade. So I suppose our broader trend looks something like this. We did have that very brief spike through just before Christmas through the support there. But overall, this has done a good job of stopping any sell-offs in the price of platinum. It's coming in now around $1,100 an ounce. So again, if the price dropped $150 from where we are now, looks like a great buying opportunity. I want to do a trade now based on what's happened at the moment. If we zoom in perhaps on the month so far. So we had this run that started from the 4th of February, around $1,080 an ounce, up through 1340. We have seen the market give up, a portion of those gains, but it does look as if it's trying to stage some sort of comeback from where we are now. It traded to $1,300 overnight at the beginning of the week. So if I think we're going to push up and perhaps break these levels, I'd like to be a buyer now. Where does my stop go? The closest I want my stop, I think there's an obvious area. It's these lows from the 11th of Feb, just before the market moved out to this 6-year high. So those lows are around $12.15 an ounce. Then, of course, we've got the more recent lows where it stopped around 12.25 in the sell-off. So for me, it seems fairly obvious that my stop needs to be at least beyond here. Let me give it a bit more room and go the other side of 11.80. So I'm going to go 11.60 for a stop. So just over $100 away from where the market is trading now. But volatility has picked up in the last couple of weeks or so. So giving it a bit of room does make sense. So I'm going to be a buyer now with a stop down at 11.60, and then just happy to sit with the trade. See if it can break out to fresh 6-year highs again, then think about moving the stop. Let's set the trade up. So I'm going to buy 3 ounces of platinum where it's trading now around 12.77, 12.78. What I'm going to do as well is put a stop loss on that order. My stop's going to go in at 11.60. So basically back to where it was a couple of weeks ago in February. So it breaks down to there. I'm probably wrong for the moment, at least. So I'll get stopped out of the trade for the usual risk of about £250. That's it. Let's place the trade. So the trade's in. I've placed the trade with my stop at 11.60. Let's take a look in the portfolio. So here we go. It ended up getting filled in a couple of trades, the bulk of it being done at 12.77.64. Stops in at 11.60. My P&L, of course, I'm going to be slightly behind at the moment because there's a spread in this market, but my stop is in place. And for now, I'm just happy to run this trade, see if it can continue to build on these gains and burst out higher. If it sells off from here, I think there's another opportunity. So we'll take a look at it again. But I think it's been a great market to trade over the last few months. And if it's a market you don't watch already, well worth adding to the list of the markets you look for opportunities. That's it for the update on platinum. We'll come back to it in a few weeks' time and see how things are doing. But for now, from me, David Jones and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your trading. For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.